Thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Just as we were finished recording yesterday's episode, it was revealed that the owners were requesting a federal mediator to help the talks between themselves and the players along. And then we found out just before recording today that the players were like, no, we're not allowing that to happen. So we'll be talking about that. Plus, we have a story about the night that the Yankees set a world record in a ridiculous way and how my father took part. And then Abby and I will be yapping in the third segment for Freeform Friday, which should be a lot of fun.
You can call it something more flattering, man.
That's true. But that's all coming up next. That's all coming up next on Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias, joined by Abby Mastracco. It's Locked On Yankees. It's a Friday, and we have sort of exciting things to talk about because...
Do we have exciting things to talk about? I don't know how exciting this is. The players have said no to federal mediation.
I kind of like it. The reason I like it is because, and I was saying this before we started recording, I feel as if the owners aren't really budging in any way, and the players are the ones that seem to be making concessions, and the owners are just standing there with their arms crossed, and it doesn't feel like they're negotiating in good faith. So the players putting their foot down and saying, no, we don't want a mediator, let's meet, get this done, and do it. I kind of like that because they're kind of forcing the owner's hand, I guess, in a way.
Well, the NHL had some success with mediation, but baseball's still scarred from the 1994 labor stoppage when there was no successful result that came from federal mediation. And Don Fears, who now negotiates, or now is the lawyer for the NHL Players Association, said that mediation back in 1994 was kind of a joke. Yeah. It's just another, I don't know that it's going to bridge the gap. The players don't trust that it's going to bridge the gap as much as they think that, federal mediator is going to side with the owners and the commissioner. And I guess that's a valid concern. Yeah. It's a very valid concern. Rob Manfred's job is to negotiate on the part of the owners, and the owners are going to do what is best for their bottom line and not necessarily what is best for the competitiveness of the game, the future of the game. And the players are worried about their present and their future. And, there's a lot of people in baseball worried about how the sport evolves and moves forward. And it just, right now, it's everything is at a complete standstill, and mediation does not seem to be the answer given the past history.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, look, I see what they're trying to accomplish, and it has worked in the NHL, but I don't know that it's necessarily, I think there's just, the tensions are so fraught on both sides. I don't know that a mediator is necessarily going to help in the way that it might seem like they would from the outside. Right. A mediator, mediation, if you've been to, for anybody who's listening who's been divorced, I personally am not. I've never been married, but I have friends who have told me all about mediation in divorce. The role is to play the go-between, right? But because the league has antitrust exemptions and things like that, the players are worried that they're going to fall on the side of the owners.
Yeah.
It's just, it's more complicated than just one person in the middle trying to bridge the gaps between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the players just came out with a response to the mediation. It came out at 1:30 p.m. We're recording this at 2:12 p.m. So it really just came out. And it said 2 months after implementing their lockout and just 2 days after committing to players that a counter proposal would be made, the owners refused to make a counter and instead requested mediation. After consultation with our executive board and taking into account a variety of factors, we have declined this request. The clearest path to a fair and timely agreement is to get back to the table. Players stand ready to negotiate.
I think they've been ready to negotiate.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Manfred's statement when he locked the doors was that he hoped the lockout would jumpstart timely negotiations, and that hasn't been the case because nobody met for months. And now that they're meeting, they just seem to be at a standstill. You know, like we briefly touched on yesterday, they've moved on to talking about the more, the aspects of like the competitive part of the game, like the universal DH, because they cannot agree on these core economic issues. But at some point, like maybe they get some agreement on like a universal DH and a couple rule changes here and there. Maybe there's some agreement, and then that softens the tensions. But bringing in a mediator or requesting a mediator in the way that the league did, I think is just going to. I don't think it's going to. It's not going to bring in any goodwill. It's not going to gain them any goodwill.
Right. Yeah. Now, I found this interesting. Paul Sewald tweeted earlier this morning because someone had asked him, he's a baseball pitcher.
I know who he is. He pitched for the Mets. I know Paul Sewald. No. He's a great guy.
I'm telling the listeners and the viewers just in case, because that's not a name that people will be like, oh, yeah, sure.
He was a Mets reliever who, I could tell you all about Paul Sewald. I think him and his wife just had a baby this season. She's also very nice, Molly. He played at University of San Diego. He was sort of a soft tosser, but he had a really good spring training in 2017 because he could locate really well. And the Mets used him out of the bullpen for a couple years with some mixed results. And then he had a really good season this year in Seattle, because Seattle is where all the former Mets go to revive their careers.
That's right. That's true.
Chris Flexen had a great year, Yeah. They're the Mets West. So Paul Sewald, and I think the last few years having more major league success has sort of emboldened him to speak his mind on some of these issues.
Well, someone actually asked him, and I think this was actually good of the person. Maybe the way they stated it wasn't, but he responded to someone on Twitter who said, I have a serious question because I really don't know. What are players asking for? Salaries are at an all-time high. Contracts are guaranteed. Good work environment. I think it would be good if fans understood, because as we keep saying, fans keep thinking that it's all about the bigger guys and not realizing the smaller guys that don't make all the money. So Sewald said, great question. We're looking for increased salaries for 0 to 3-year players on the minimum salary, more competitive integrity, i.e. no repeated ranking in order to accumulate high draft picks, and to end service time manipulation so fans can see their young stars.
I think he meant tanking instead of ranking, but same sentiment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's lost, because the league and the owners like to say, we are paying you lots and lots of money to throw a baseball. Well, there are a lot of people out there who aren't getting paid a lot of money. We know that salaries were down this year. Not every player is a millionaire. Not every player is even close to being a millionaire. There's the sheer roster size. I mean, think about how many guys end up playing for like 6 teams in 1 year. Not necessarily major league teams. And your salary structure is bouncing all over the place when you're DFA'd 1 week and you get picked up by another team and you get thrown in AAA or even maybe AA. And then you get called up to the major leagues for a cup of coffee, and then you get DFA'd again and you're on a plane going out to, another AAA team. That's exhausting for players. And they're not making millions of dollars. They're making some money because they're getting a cup of coffee in the major leagues, but like, the Fernando Tatis salaries are not representative of where salaries are as a whole, what everybody else is making. The Fernando Tatises of the world are the upper echelon, the elite players who are, yes, they're going to be making millions and millions of dollars over the course of their career. However, their career is short. If they're not investing that in the right way right now, they've got to, your career lasts into your 30s, maybe your early 40s, maybe. You've got to have an act too. And the thing that so yes, we do have guaranteed money in baseball. And I get that there are fans who see that as, you shouldn't be greedy, take the money and run. But not everybody is getting the big numbers that you see when you have sticker shock.
Right.
And the players on top, Paul Sewald's not getting that kind of money.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
So the players on top are trying to advocate for the game as a whole because the competitive integrity will be better.
Yep. I just found that interesting. Shakia Taylor quote tweeted him and said that she found it refreshing that he came out and said that and basically explained to the fan, not even in an obnoxious way, like, well, this is what we want. He explained it in a really good way. And hopefully that fan will see things a little differently than he did before he asked the question and the way he said the question. Now, it is time for me to talk about working out and eating a Built Bar. Now, I will admit I did not work out yet today because I had about 2 hours sleep. And when I have 2 hours sleep, I cannot get on that bike and do anything. So, yeah, I'll have to wait till later to work out and eat my Built Bar. It's the new year, which means New Year's resolutions. And if yours is about getting fit or eating healthier, make sure you include Built Bar in that plan. It's the protein bar that tastes like a candy bar, but maybe even better than a candy bar. And it makes it easier for you to stick to your resolution because it tastes so good. And you'll want to eat it unlike other protein bars, which can be chalky or waxy or taste like a chemical spill. Most Built Bars are 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has around 240 calories and 30 grams of sugar, dozens of net carbs. They're just not good for you, but Built Bars are. They have plenty of flavors. Coconut almond is actually really good. Probably my second favorite behind mint brownie. And so many others. They have limited time flavors. They have flavors that go away and then come back on a second chance kind of deal. And if you go to Built.com, you can see what's new. Go to Built.com, use our promo code LOCKED15 and get 15% off your order. Again, that's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Thanks again for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. We're free and available on all platforms. Okay, so I went to Yankees.com.
You've been dying to talk about this.
I went to Yankees.com, and it was a story that was actually published, I believe it was June of this year or June of last year, about an infamous day in Yankee history, 1996, August of 1996, when the Macarena was the #1 song on the Billboard charts. Now, let me explain this to the people who were maybe too little to remember. The Macarena was #1 for more than 3 months in 1996, all throughout August, September, October, and into early November. So there were a lot of us who were victimized by that song being the #1 song on our birthdays that year, you know.
I think we were all victimized by that song.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, even just listening to it, because it was constantly on all the time. I recall dancing to it drunk in Oswego a few times when it first started getting big. Yeah. And Cotton Eye Joe and all those other stupid mid-90s dance songs that are still played at ballparks.
Cotton Eye Joe. I remember that being big at middle school dances.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Because I'm a bit older. So what happened was the Seattle Mariners had a Macarena night to try and set a world record for the most people doing the Macarena, and then the Yankees thought, well, we can do that and do it even better and have more people do it because, you know, the Mariners had beaten the Yankees in the '95 division series, and there was kind of like a sort of heated thing, and Yankee fans didn't like the Mariners or anything like that. So they decided to have Macarena night at Yankee Stadium on August 16th, 1996, and they set the world record for most people doing the Macarena in one place. And the funniest thing about this is my father was there. And I asked him, because I couldn't picture my father attempting to do the Macarena. And when I asked him if he did, he said, yes, I did it. I said, okay, Gus. This was before, you know, cell phone cameras and people putting things on in the internet. The internet was still kind of not in its infancy, but it wasn't like everyone was using it. So there's no proof of my father attempting the Macarena, but I'll trust that he did that. But It was against the Mariners. The Yankees actually lost the game 6-5, which is even funnier because they wanted to like rub it in Seattle's face that, oh, we're going to set the record for the Macarena, and then they ended up losing the game anyway. And the person who got the save for the Mariners in that game, Michael Jackson, which I find so funny. I forgot he existed as a baseball player because mid-90s, you forget some of these guys are around. And it was just when I was looking at the box score earlier, because I love doing that. That's always a fun exercise when you're looking at games from that long ago, because we're now, what year are we in? That's God, it's going to be 26 years ago. That's really frightening.
I've been watching the, I don't know why I've been watching this. the Pam and Tommy Lee miniseries on Hulu.
Yeah.
And the like disgruntled carpenter that leaked the sex tape, like just the way that they refer to the internet. I'm on the web. I've been on the web. I've been on the web for a little while now. I like just the
the web and the net. That's what the
way that they talk about it, like it's this like, I don't know.
I have a cat scratching at a dresser.
I was going to say, that's a cat there. I can see your camera shaking, and that's usually a cat.
She's scratching the dresser. I'm like, what are you doing? She's trying to get my attention. Lucy wants to say something. Luce, do you want to talk about the Macarena or no? She doesn't know what the Macarena is. But yeah, the web, the net, I didn't really use the internet then. I had a suite mate that was on Usernet or Telnet, and everything was so primitive. It wasn't like there were graphics or anything. You were just like typing lines into things when you were chatting with people. It's really funny to think about how, you literally we have like computers on our phone. And
I know. Remember when all of our math teachers said we had to learn how to do math because
you won't be carrying a calculator.
Won't be carrying around a calculator. Oh, well, joke's on them.
Oh, that's so funny. And it's true. Yeah. Cause I'm constantly using my calculator on my phone.
I can't do math.
Figure things out. Yeah, no. And it's funny too, because I actually was okay in math in school, but if I attempted to do anything that I did in high school, I wouldn't remember anything. Like, no. Algebra maybe, but no, because my brother's a teacher, my mom was a teacher, and they were showing me the Common Core stuff and how they do math equations now, and it's completely different and broken down differently. And I was looking at it thinking, I was a bad student back then. It would be 1,000 times worse for me if I was a student in the 2020s. It just wouldn't be good at all. But yeah, the Yankees lost 6-5. And let's just look at this for a second. There were 50,724 people. So that's a lot of people doing the Macarena. And I'm sure the players were probably like, I can't believe they're doing this. This is so embarrassing. But, it was 1996. This is the kind of thing they did. And Sterling Hitchcock was the winning pitcher for Seattle, and Dale Pauly was the losing pitcher for the Yankees. And I know people are thinking, who?
Yeah.
And even I'm thinking, wait, I don't remember him. I remember everyone else. Jimmy Key started. Bob Wickman pitched in relief. Dale Pauly gave up the winning run. And Jeff Nelson also pitched. So, lots of familiar names from the 96 Yankees there. But Dale Pauly, I might have to look him up and do like a deep dive and see if I can find things out about him. And maybe I can talk about him on like a Way Back Wednesday or some sort of thing like that, because, I love doing that sort of thing.
Sterling Hitchcock's a great baseball name, though.
Oh, yes.
Also, like, he'd make a good murderer on a TV show.
Yeah. Yeah. Who's the person? Oh, Kendall Graveman.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that his name actually sounded more like a girl from a slasher film named Kendall, like blonde hair, like, California girl, I don't know why, but every time I saw that name, I would think of that and be like, yeah, no, that sounds like some sort of chick. I shouldn't say chick, but girl from a slasher picture or something. Now, the Yankees were 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position. The 2021 Yankees would be thrilled with 5 for 9 with runners in scoring position at any point during the season. So yeah, August 16th, 1996, the most people doing the Macarena. And in the story, Michael Kay was talking about the woman who came up with the idea. And now I'm thinking, did Michael Kay and John Sterling do that in the radio booth? Because I don't remember. And now I'm going to have to find...
I'd love to see video of that.
Yeah, or the guys in the MSG booth. Like, did they all do the Macarena? I need to know this. Maybe I'll DM Michael K and find out on Twitter.
Michael, did you do the Macarena?
Be like, you were talking about the day that the Macarena happened at Yankee Stadium, but I need to know if you actually did it, because I need to picture this in my mind, because picture it, people. Do it. Picture Michael K and John Sterling standing in the radio booth.
I physically can't. Like the picture in my mind is not coming. It's just not.
I can picture Sterling being very confused. Mainly because, John Sterling, the most recent music he likes is probably from like the 60s. So even in the 90s, he was probably thinking to himself, what is this nonsense?
So, you just like watch fans in the stands do it. I still remember it.
Yeah. That's so funny. I love it.
I still remember it.
Oh, God. And how I was saying we would do it in bars in Oswego, and it was girls only. Guys did not do that. They would stand on the side watching us like, what are you guys doing? And same thing with, I don't exactly remember the Cotton Eye Joe dance, but I did do it. And I think I did it at Yankee Stadium too one time when after I graduated college and they started playing it regularly. I had a little too much to drink at a Yankee Red Sox game, and I started doing the Cotton Eye Joe dance when they played it in the 8th inning. And my friends were like, what are you doing? I'm like, look, they're losing 15-something. It was a bad loss for the Yankees against the Red Sox. So I was like, I'm just going to do the Cotton Eye Joe because I need to have fun.
At least the Macarena was like an easy dance to learn, because then years later, like Gangnam Style, I'm probably not even saying that right. I apologize if I butchered that. Like that dance was not easy for like the average Joe to replicate, and yet people tried. Yesterday when we were talking about how I have like vivid memories of that first Dodger game I covered as a reporter, I remember Gangnam Style being played several times throughout that game.
My favorite.
And like fans in the stands were dancing, and it wasn't good.
Well, do you remember when Psy was there at Dodger Stadium doing it? And there's this infamous shot of him singing that song and Tommy Lasorda sitting in a seat looking at him like, who the hell is this person?
That's just how Tommy Lasorda always looked.
Yeah, like he literally like was looking like with this horrified look on his face, like, what am I sitting through? What is this? My brother always brings that up. He thinks it's hilarious.
I caught Tommy Lasorda like dozing off, napping in an empty broadcast booth once. I was walking down to say hi to a broadcaster, and I opened the wrong door, and I was like, oh, sorry. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, that's Tommy. He definitely didn't hear me.
Oh, my God. That's so funny. So this weekend, Pro Bowl, right? I think. Now they do the Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl?
Because nobody watches it. No one watches it anyway. It's also the NHL All-Star Game. Yeah. And it's really stupid that the NHL decided to have the All-Star Game on the weekend of the Pro Bowl, because nobody watches either of those games.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. Oh, God, I should not. There's actually some cool things that they're doing for the NHL All-Star Game. And one of the things I like, because like we complain about baseball and hockey not knowing how to like market their players and not really wanting them to show their personalities. It's like the we before me mentality. Sure. But we want to see their personalities. So for the skills competitions, the NHL is letting them choose like their own songs. So like, it's sort of like they get their walk-up songs for some, like, there's competitions like fastest skater. There's a goalie competition, a hardest shot, breakaway accuracy. There's one that they're doing on the Bellagio fountains, and the players get to like choose their songs when this is going on. And some of the songs are good. Like Adrian Kempe of the Kings is like, his song is Forgot About Dre. Amazing song. Andre Vasilevsky of the goalie for the Tampa Bay Lightning, Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. Like a Russian dude into Led Zeppelin. Okay. Nice. Tristan Jarry, Black and Yellow, Wiz Khalifa. I mean, he plays in Pittsburgh. But then we have, where is it? Alex DeBrincat from the Chicago Blackhawks. As if the Blackhawks are not having a bad enough year, though it's all self-inflicted. His song for the breakaway contest is Who Let the Dogs Out? Oh, who let him choose that song? I'm sorry, who let him choose that song?
Who let him choose that? Who?
Like the NHL should have been like, no. Again. Pick again. Jake Gensel, for the accuracy, has a milkshake by Khalees, which I'm very into. Jake Gensel's milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, apparently.
That's funny.
But, like, Alex DeBrincat, no. Like, who let the dog? No.
I mean, it wasn't even good when the Mets kept playing it 22 years ago all the time. Like, why?
We want players to, like, have personalities, but good ones.
Right, not that.
And Alex DeBrincat's a very nice guy. Like, actually, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sure his personality is very great. He's been very nice in my interactions with him. But, like, what is that song? Why? I'm sorry.
I wonder, I don't know if BetOnline has lines for songs, what guys are going to be playing, but betonline.net has way more stuff to bet on this playoff season, including football. I'm assuming you can bet on the Pro Bowl, but you can bet on the Super Bowl, which happens a week from
prop
Sunday.
Bets for the Pro Bowl.
Right. From scores, totals, player performance, props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline is the #1 spot for all things NFL betting in 2022, and it's not just football. BetOnline.net's basketball, hockey, boxing, and UFC odds coverage is the best in the business. From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your #1 online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Now, you brought up Milkshake by Khalees, and I have to find this because
it's a great song.
I put it on Instagram, and I think I saved it to my phone because I thought it was funny. Where is it? Please tell me it's here. It was something about here it is. Someone tweeted, "This is part of Freeform Friday. You're welcome." She hadn't made a milkshake in years for fear that they would return. She starts the blender reluctantly. In the distance, screams. The boys had returned. They were coming to her yard.
How poetic.
It's so amazing. I'm so envious of people who tweet stuff like that and have jokes like that. That's just brilliant.
That's fantastic.
Oh my God. That's just great. I'm trying to think of... I don't think anyone walked up to that when that was out. I know they played it at the stadium, like during inning breaks when it was out,
It's also a great way to like promote, the milkshake stand.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they didn't even think
You're at the ball yard,
Yeah. Yeah.
Go get one of those. Was it the Yankees this year that did boozy milkshakes?
Possibly.
There was a team that did boozy milkshakes, and I wanted to try one, but I didn't get the chance to. And
yeah, the Yankees did have really insane milkshakes. My brother got one. They came in that really large, if you're watching on YouTube, hi. It looks like a glass, but it's actually plastic. And my mom we still have it, and she uses it to eat ice cream in. They're like $20 milkshakes, and it had like Reese's peanut butter cups and other stuff just stuffed on top of it with whipped cream. And I was like, oh my God. Then there was another one that had strawberry stuff swirled inside. Like you see people walking around with these giant shakes.
And I think one of them might have had alcohol in it.
Yeah.
And I very badly want to try one of those, but I'm not going to try one like when I'm on the clock. And I haven't been to a game as a fan. And it's very rare that I go to a game as a fan. Yeah. Oh God, when was the last time I did meet my friend. He had tickets this year and I met him. I was already there to work on a story and I did my interview and then I was like, oh, well, I don't need to write this for 2 more weeks. I have a friend here. So I guess like he was like, hey, my buddy couldn't make it. So like I have an extra seat next to me. So I did watch like 3 innings in the stands this year, like 3 whole innings as a fan. Wow. That's like a record for me.
Do you have a favorite ballpark food? Like, did you have a go-to as a kid?
My mom didn't let us eat ballpark food. Because it's for 2 reasons.
With good reason.
Now, one, my mom is like, she's just obsessed with being skinny. 2, it was a cost thing. Like I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day. I don't know if this was just like, because so many of our grandparents were products of the Depression.
Yes.
Then they passed some of those traits on to our parents. And like, my mom never let us spend money at the movies to buy popcorn. No, she snuck popcorn under her jacket. We'd go to Disneyland and we'd like We'd pack lunches. Like there was never, I remember going to Sacramento Kings games and eating dinner in the park, like dinner that my mom had made and transported from our house in Sacramento or in Folsom an hour away to Sacramento. And my brother and I wanted like arena food. Like we wanted a hot dog. And nope. She'll make hot dogs at home. And we would eat in the car before going into the game.
See, that's funny.
So my favorite ballpark food, I can like give you press box food rankings. Ballpark food, although I do really enjoy the AT&T Park garlic fries.
Mm.
I very much enjoy the garlic fries.
Yeah, I like garlic fries.
Fenway Park has lobster rolls. That's pretty good.
I don't eat seafood. It's a mental thing. Mental and a smell thing. I tried lobster. I did. And then I was chewing it for maybe 10 seconds and my brain's like, you have lobster in your mouth. You have lobster in your mouth. And I was like, oh my God. My friend's like, spit it out. I'm like, okay. Because she could see it in my face. She was just like, okay, I don't want you getting sick at the table. I tried.
Have you tried not thinking as much?
Me? I'm always thinking. That's why I only sleep 2 hours a night. My favorite thing at Yankee Stadium, and they didn't have them I don't think they had them last season. Or maybe they did. I don't remember. Lobel's steak-covered fries.
Oh, they did have them last year, yeah.
Looks like dog food. I don't get the onions on them, but it looks like Alpo, really. And I got it one time, Old Timers Day, 2015. I took my mom there and got the steak-covered fries, and she was looking like, ew. And I said, just try them. And then she took a bite and thought, wow, these taste 1,000 times better than they look. So we couldn't even finish them because there was too much. So brought half of them home. I went back to the stand and the lady gave me another tray so I could put it on top. And then I brought it home and had it for lunch the next day, the steak covered fries. And I think Eno Saris did a ballpark food article a few years.
Yeah.
And I was one of the people he asked, and I talked about, and I said, it looks like Alpo, but it tastes really good. Like, so if you go to Yankee Stadium, try the steak covered fries.
I really liked the Mama's Deli sandwich in at Citi Field, but they closed Mama's, the Italian deli sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
What's my go-to at Citi Field? I do like to get Arancini Brothers at Citi Field, but like, I mean, I can walk across the Williamsburg Bridge and get that at Essex Market.
Yeah, see, what did I get? Oh, I used to get the pulled pork at Blue Smoke. I liked that.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Shake Shack was ridiculously long, and I didn't want to wait 5 innings for a burger.
Well, there's a better burger at Citi Field, actually.
Yeah.
On the same level, too. I forget what it's called. I just know where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got like bacon jam on it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Laura Albanese told me about that. And I've actually never done Shake Shack at Citi Field.
Yeah, my brother did one time, and he was gone 4 innings. I'm like, what's the point of coming? I mean, I know they have the screen back there where you can watch it, but it's like, what is the point of going to a baseball stadium to watch a game if you're going to spend that many innings? That was like but
it's sort of a social thing sometimes, you know? Like,
yeah, that's true. But the old food court at Yankee Stadium was like that. The one that was in the old stadium and because
it is supposed to be like, you know, fun for families. It's supposed to be a family an activity that you can bring your kids to. And sometimes kids don't really necessarily want to watch the whole time, which is why they have playgrounds and stuff like that. And like, you know, just I've brought friends to baseball games who like going for the environment, like to sort of watch a few innings and then
like kind of walk around and look at the stadium and stuff.
Walk around, have a few drinks, like, you know, go try some drinks somewhere else instead of just getting the same giant Bud Light. You know, so it's an entertainment. It's entertainment at the end of the day. You know, yes. The priority is a winning product on the field for the diehard fans who are season ticket holders who are going to watch every pitch, live and die with every pitch. But sports are entertainment. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be fun for all ages. So I'm a fan of the like little, you know, food court area with a screen and some other like maybe things to look at or things to do. And you know, there's Monument Park inside Yankee Stadium, and then the Braves Stadium too. It's not SunTrust Park anymore. I forget what it's called now.
Oh yeah,
but
I don't remember either.
The one that opened in 2017, they've got like a nice little history, little I don't want to call it a Hall of Fame. That's not what it is, but they've got some cool historic exhibits from baseball in Atlanta and Hank Aaron. And so there's, things to sort of see and discover within the stadium. And I like it. Plus, I'm there like 5 hours ahead of times before games sometimes. Like, I'm there so early. Before a game, if I'm done with my notebook, I want to go walk around a little bit. I want to go see some things, and I like to learn. I like history, so I'm a fan of having little museums and
Oh yeah.
whatnot,
Yeah.
and a nice little food court where I can like watch some highlights and look at the scoreboard and the out of town scoreboard and see what's going on, and also like not eat press box food.
Yeah. Well, the food court at the old stadium was awful. Just it was awful, and you would literally be gone for like six innings. And I did it once, never did it again. I was like, if you guys want to go get food, bye. I'll see you. When the relievers come into the game, but I'm not doing it. No. And it got a little. It's better now at the new stadium. Plus with the open concourses, it's much better because when you went to get food at the old stadium, you would see stuff on the TV, but it wasn't like now where you can kind of turn around, look at the field if you need to. It's just so different. But yeah, those steak covered fries, I miss those, and I didn't get them when I was there either time I was at this. I only went to 2 games in 2021, and I didn't really eat that much at either game, and I don't know why did I not eat. What was I doing?
Is this like a thing of our like? Did your parents like sneak food into? Oh
No.
my gosh, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about it. Like our parents would never. This was like so common among like people that I
Well, my
grew up
dad
with.
was the one that usually took us. Like my mom would sometimes come
Yeah,
to
my dad
games,
would. I
but
remember my dad would always buy my brother and I. But my brother, if it was my dad, we had to like everything was to share. Like one giant soda. I remember one time at a Sacramento Kings game, my dad bought us our giant soda, and like we probably each got like a hot dog and we shared fries. And my brother spilled the soda on the fries and on himself and on me.
oh god.
And my dad was like, well, that's it. You don't get another one. You spilled it. And I was like, so I'm being punished for it. And he was little, like he was young. So then he cried because he's like cold and wet and sticky. My dad's like, oh, I guess we got to leave the game early. And I was like, damn it. Why is my brother ruining everything? I don't get soda. I don't get the one time I get concessions at a game. This never happens. My brother ruins it, spills the soda all over my fries and his fries.
How much younger
Cries.
is he than you?
2 years.
Okay. Yeah,
So
my
I was
brother
probably
and I
like 8 and he was 6.
Yeah, my brother and I are almost school-wise we're 4 years apart. So I graduated June of 92 and he went into high school September of 92. So I didn't have to deal with having my little brother in high school with me. And we were the opposite, where the oldest child was the bad student and the youngest child was the good student. So when he went into school, the teachers were like, oh no, it's another Gotsulius. And then when he was a lot better at school than I was, they were like, wow, this is different. Okay.
Easier.
Yeah, whoa. What happened here? Yeah, whatever. So yeah, Oh, the other thing, I like chicken fingers and fries. I'm like a 7-year-old sometimes when I go to the game. I get the Nathan's crinkle cut fries and the giant chicken fingers because I don't know. Yeah, with the honey mustard. Sometimes you have to eat like a 7-year-old when you're at a baseball game. You kind of have like nostalgic feelings for stuff. I do not eat hot dogs anymore. Ate them too much when I was younger, and now it's kind of grosses me out. So I stay away from the hot dogs as
I
much
do
as
enjoy a
possible.
hot dog every once in a while. I just don't try and make them like a regular part of my diet.
Yeah, yeah.
And I especially enjoy one either at a baseball game or on the street. Like
Yeah.
there's sometimes when like I've got a couple friends who live on the Upper West Side who my friend Nadia plans these just over the top, not over the top, but like these amazing picnics for our friends in Central Park. And like she will make a charcuterie board that is like worthy of an Instagram post, transport that to the park. But there's always a hot dog cart at the entrance to the park where I go. And I like, it's not that I've ruined my appetite for all of Nadia's amazing food. Oh gosh, you should see it. Like she's so good at this. Like she's like the Martha Stewart of Central Park picnics. It's great. And her and her fiance are both bartenders, so they'll bring multiple cocktails in like
Like thermoses or
Yeah, to keep them cold.
Yeah.
And they've even got they've got ice, they've got everything. Like they plan like the best. They've got speakers and playlists that they make ahead of time, like knowing that I'm coming, like they will have Fleetwood Mac and on one of their playlists, like they do playlists for like making sure that all of their friends' favorite songs are on there. It's
By the
great.
way, happy 45th anniversary
I
to
know,
Rumors,
right?
which came out February 4th, 1977. And I'm old enough to have memories of hearing those songs on the radio when I was a kid. So,
I don't know if you can see my
yeah, I told my mom today,
Fleetwood Mac replica ticket behind me.
I said to my mom, I said, I have a clear memory of you putting me in my car seat in our station wagon on 215th Street. We were going somewhere and Go Your Own Way was on the radio. And she's like, how do you remember this stuff? I said, I don't know. I said, you played music all the time. And that's how my memories work. I associate everything with music. I have specific memories from before I was 4 years old. I have some memories from when I was just barely 3 because of music. So happy anniversary to Rumors.
But yeah, my favorite place to get a hot dog is either a ballpark, because it's kind of tied, or a street cart in New York.
Yeah, you can't really do it anywhere else. I mean, sometimes there really isn't anything better than a dirty water dog.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Chicago
especially when you
dogs
don't
are
have
good
them for
too,
a
but
while.
like they just don't do it the same for me as a dirty water dog
Yeah.
in Midtown.
Yeah. I know people are like if you get stuff from a cart on the street, you know, I used to get like falafel and all that stuff, and people would be like, "What are you doing?"
I do it all the time.
I'm fine. Nothing has happened to me. I'm perfectly healthy. It's fine. But I recommend if you go to New York, don't be afraid of that stuff, because some of the stuff you don't think is going to be good turns out to be the best thing you're going to eat, possibly.
The halal carts are the best halal food.
Yeah.
Like that's the best halal food in the city.
Yep. Can't get any better than that. All right. We
Next
gotta
time
go.
you plan your trip to Yankee Stadium, try and bring it back to baseball a little bit.
Yeah.
Next time you try and plan a trip to Yankee Stadium, make room for halal food.
Yeah. Take the train into Manhattan and find a cart and get it, because it's really good. So that's it for this episode of Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Abby and I would like to remind you that you can listen to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. You can watch us and subscribe to us on YouTube. And when you get into your car, you can tell your smart device to play podcast Locked On Bets. Now make your second listen of the day Locked On Bets, your daily one-stop shop for all your gambling needs. Locked On Bets, hosted by your boy Q, with expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. One more thing, if you could be so kind, please rate the podcast and spread the word about this podcast to your fellow Yankee fans. We'd really appreciate it. It's the weekend, so enjoy it. And if you're in the eye of this ice storm that seems to be approaching New York, please be careful. And we will talk to you all next week.